The wildest thing that ever happened to me was the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Okay. You just had to take leave of your senses. See, they gave everybody a double shot of vodka, and Snoop and Jimmy had 5 double shots by the time they got to the baking segment, and I was, you know, the way it was supposed to work. Jimmy was supposed to rub the product in flour. Now, what we were frying, whole Pop-Tarts, chocolate bunny rabbits, ping pong balls, a wristwatch. You know, as I say, just take leave of your senses. But it was just utter madness. And for the grand finale, Jimmy ran around and jerked the wristwatch off a guy. They had 850 people in the audience, and it was the first week of his show, and they had an open bar on Monday night when the show opened, you know, giving 850 people all the booze they wanted, you know. Well, some young lady partook more than she could handle and threw up on a Disney executive. Now, that closed the bar. That closed the bar. And when my groceries came, they had told me they wanted me to do a tempura and like stuff, you know, nice tempura batter to dip things in and fry. So I had put a big slug of corn syrup in the batter so it would brown instantly, because I knew everything has to be instant on TV. They had these nice heavy cartons of goat's milk, and I said, I didn't order any goat's milk, but they rinsed them out and they kept them full of vodka. See, they wouldn't let them pour the vodka like they'd been doing. So Jimmy and Snoop would pull out their double shot and a double shot for the guest, and he'd pour goat's milk, which happened to be crystal clear, you know, and belted that down. So that was the start of it all. But it was just utter madness. And after Jimmy got back, we were on one of these little flats, you know, the 3 of us. So we were packed together and had big chef's hats on. And Jimmy had been hanging on me most of the time, and he'd asked me to marry him a couple of times. And I said, it's okay, he's been drinking, you know. So he asked after the wristwatch, and see, he burned his fingers taking that hot fried wristwatch back to the guy. And the guy on the front row didn't know what hit him. So anyhow, Jimmy came back and he says, Snoop, pass me something to eat. And Snoop passed him a sub. I deep fried a whole sub. A whole submarine sandwich. A submarine sandwich. I had it tied together just in 2 places so it wouldn't totally fall apart. And anyhow, well, see, Jimmy hadn't had anything to eat all day, and he'd been drinking like crazy. And when he bit into that sub, see that it was hot, and the bread was super soft, and the cheese was melted. And he said, oh, you know, his eyes rolled. He said, Shirley, that's the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. And he grabbed me and did one of these movie star kisses, you know, and I'm slinging batter all over the place and trying to hold on to my hat, and you know, that was falling off. And drunk as he is, Jimmy's listening to that audience every second. And so he finally let me up when the audience just loved it. They were roaring. And so, you know, I'd gotten into it by now, so I said, wow! And I grabbed my double shot because, see, I just licked it and hid it under the batter bowl because I was afraid I might need it worse later, and I did. So I belted it down, and we went black to commercial. The timing was perfect. And, you know, I was here and I was telling Butch at Pangea, you know, who used to own Pangea Sandwich Shop, I said, you know, Snoop was so sweet. He helped me up on the platform, and when I left, he kissed me goodbye on the cheek. I said his mama would have been proud of him. He was a real gentleman. And Butch just shook his head. He said, Shirley, you've never been anywhere. All the pimps kiss their girls on the cheek.